Hey, welcome to Tough Guys. On this episode, we're going to be installing something a little different that we've never done before. I've never done the install before. It's going to be a bidet that you can install onto any toilet, as far as I know, onto any toilet. Let's jump right in. I'll show you the one that we purchased and let you take a look. All right, here is what we got. The FreshSpa Easy Bidet. Brondell, I believe we got this thing from Home Depot. It wasn't much. I'll put some images up here to show what they've currently got it for sale for. And this one is going to be more of a how-to full install. Some of our videos aren't that way, but this one we're going to go ahead and go through every step. I've actually not even opened this thing yet. The tape is still on it. So we're going to go through this together, see what's inside. Initial inspection here. Looks like supply line, from what I can tell so far, and some more components, maybe a valve. FreshSpa Easy Bidet, owner's manual. And there is the unit. Plastic wrap. Oh. Well, we got the logo that way, but then your stuff is the other way. So it's like nozzle cleaning and wash. This looks to be the nozzle. From what I've read online, it's adjustable, but I just put some pressure that did not want to move, so let's not break it in the first 30 seconds, shall we? And here's the instruction guide. We'll go through that a little bit here and see what we've got going on. Thanks for your purchase. Post review online. Hey, will this work? This video? Maybe? Yeah? No? All right, and we've got some Teflon tape to give you a little bit. That's pretty cool because that's not something everybody would have at home. And a lot of the reviews that I read said that this thing basically comes ready to go, which I thought was pretty cool. A lot of products like this, at least plumbing add-on stuff that I've experienced, it doesn't really have everything that you need. So we've got a couple of washers. They look to be the same size. So take a look at those. And then here's another one that was actually up inside of there. And then there's one that's all the way in there. I'm gonna leave that one inside of there. It looks like it's supposed to be in there. And it just looks like a valve. My guess what this is, it's gonna hook onto the existing toilet up underneath. This is gonna go to the wall, and then this will jump off onto the bidet unit itself. That'd be my guess on this. And I'm not sure, maybe that goes in there, I'm not sure. So we'll take a look at the instructions and see. And last but not least, we've got just a flexible supply line. Looks to be the same on each end. Nothing fancy, not too long, because like I said, I believe this is gonna hook onto the toilet. This is gonna hook onto there, and then this is gonna hook onto the unit itself. So you won't really need much of a long line here. You'll probably end up having a little loop in it like that. So, all right, let's go through the instructions a bit. All right, I've kind of snuck through here a little bit. It gives you a parts list, so you can verify you've got what you need actually in the box. And this is the one that was actually inside of the T-valve connector. This one is actually in there already, and the small rubber washer was also in there. There's your hose, the supply line, two parts there. Shows you the configuration. And then the installation instructions is only just a couple of pages here, which we're gonna follow this step by step and get this thing installed. After that, it has some instructions on how to actually operate the unit, and maintenance and warranty, which we'll review that, see what we need to do to make sure it's under warranty, and then they give you some contact info. And then past that, they've got a few extra languages, if that's your thing. So this is what we got. Now, let's look at some tools that we should take inside before we carry all this into the bathroom. Now, this is my little plumbing box. I use the old Homer box from Home Depot just to keep all my plumbing stuff in. So in here, I think all I'm really gonna take, I'm gonna take some of my Teflon, just because that's actually for gas. So I'm gonna need that one. I'm gonna take mine. We're gonna take our channel locks, just because the best thing I like for plumbing. I'm gonna take this. All right, I've got a couple of my Milwaukee screwdrivers just for taking anything off the toilet that I might need. We're gonna bring those. And my Klein 11 way, just in case I need something else. I've got the Teflon already. And then I've got a Husky Robo Grip. It's just a smaller diameter. It's just easier and quicker for something smaller. The channel locks get a lot larger for the connections underneath the toilet. So just a quick group of stuff. Let me grab my pouch and we'll go inside. And here's our AWP. It's my little pouch, again from Home Depot. I'll try to find an image and put it up. This is an older model, so they may not have it. Little loop for hammer. Got some pins and pencils in there. I keep one of my long Phillips bits in there as well. Some electrical tape. Got some slots for the screwdrivers to click into, and then just kind of a big pouch, and I threw the Teflon down in that front pocket. The best part is, I've talked about this before in my other videos, this is just a clip. I can put it on anything, and yeah, I've got the full, the full rigged up construction pouches, the dual style, but for something like this, I find this to be just the absolute best thing. So, taking a look, this is what we carry around. Let's take everything inside. Going to install a bidet. Going to install a bidet. Going to install the bidet. One quick note too is we've got everything in here, small little space. We did grab a towel just for any water that may leak out of the toilet when we open things up. And we've got everything in here. Bring everything in that you need before you sit down and get situated around the toilet. And one last thing, we're all adults here. These are toilets. Well, maybe there's kids watching, I don't know why. Maybe they're trying to learn. Clean it first. We did, so that we don't have to, it's a toilet. Do I really need to say? I don't know. Clean it. Step one is remove the existing toilet seat, so we're going to start there. Now, I will say everyone's toilet is different, so this is ours. You got 2 caps. These pop up on mine, and they have exposed at the top of the bolts that go through. Now, underneath, I'm going to see if I can show you all this. Underneath, there's a nut on there that I'm going to grab with the pliers while I unscrew up here with the Phillips head. Okay, so we've got that Phillips head Milwaukee, just a regular old Phillips head screwdriver that I'm just going to put tension on there. And I'm going to try this with my hand first, but if not, I've got the channel locks under there. I'm going to reach underneath and I'm going to grab onto that bolt. It looks like it's not quite tight enough, so I can actually do it with my hand. And again, this may vary from toilet to toilet. So this is the piece that came off the bottom. There's the piece that came off the bottom side. And then this is just a long bolt, plastic on ours. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back together so I don't lose anything. And this one again is pretty loose. There it is. Now the whole toilet seat is actually moving. If I can get that bolt up out of there. And there's the bolt again. It does come with a washer. So again, I'm going to put everything back together. I don't want to lose any of those parts. And then let's take a look here as this thing comes off. So it just lifts off. Let's flip it around. And I do have a couple of gaskets. So you're going to want to save those gaskets. They go on the back side. Again, your toilet seat might not be the exact same as this. Mine happen to have a couple of gaskets that go over in these 2 spots to protect it. That's what these things were. Yours may not have that. So again, it could be different from toilet to toilet, but the first step was to get this thing removed. So we're gonna set that over here to the side and take a look at step number 2. All right, step number 2 is to turn off the water supply valve, flush, get everything ready, and then disconnect the water supply hose from the tank fill valve. So you're gonna be disconnecting it from the tank, not from the valve. So here's my old toilet valve. Shutting it off is pretty easy. Just gonna twist that so it's in off position. And you can see this is where we're gonna disconnect once we actually drain. Now it says it wants us to flush. Very satisfying. I might wait a second and do that again. Okay, we got the lid cleaned off. Now we can remove, just to make sure that the water is gone. I'm actually gonna set this lid down behind the toilet You may not have room like that, so just set it somewhere safe. And we've got no water left in here, very little. So I lift up, you can see down in there's really not much water left. But when I disconnect, there's still a chance some water could come out. So that's what having that towel or a bucket or a bowl is ready. I'm actually gonna grab a little bowl just to be ready for that before we disconnect the supply line from there. I'm in super tight quarters here, so this may be a little bit difficult to see. I'm gonna get this guy loose. Now once you get it loosened with the channel locks, these toilet supply valves are not designed to be wrenched on. So it should be hand tight once you get it past, one turn. Now you see the water is kind of kicking in. Get this ready. And the bowl was a great idea. So this is the piece sticking out of the bottom of the tank of the toilet. Now, as I thought, it looks like that T-valve that came in the box is gonna actually hook onto here. Now it looks like step 3 is to connect that T-valve. So that's what we're gonna do with next. And it's got a little diagram here, so let's show you what we got. Okay, a couple quick notes on this install. So there's the T-valve again. We've got the rubber washer inside as it says. Now that's gonna hook onto here. Because I'm so tight for space, and I'd have to hook this supply valve that they brought onto here after the fact, I'm gonna hook this on first. And that's why they gave you Teflon. This thing used to come with like a plastic supply valve. Since they've switched to this, they went ahead and put that Teflon in there. The instructions did not mention using the Teflon tape. It actually mentions a plastic supply valve. So this is important if you've not used this type. The Teflon is great for a brass to connection here. So I'm gonna hook this up first. Then I'm gonna hook this thing onto here and then hook the toilet supply valve onto the bottom of it. So that's the order that I'm gonna do it. So let me show you how I hook these two things together first. Okay, again, sorry for kind of trying to get you guys good angles, but I'm in cramped space. So there's a little Teflon that they supplied. And here's this guy, threadings. And then this is one end of that supply valve. So you just be your supply line. So basically you're just gonna be screwing that onto there. That's how that's gonna work. The Teflon acts as a barrier. It helps keep everything nice and tight. It's very, very flimsy stuff. It's almost like tissue paper. You can kind of see through it. You don't need a ton of this stuff. They give you a bunch of it, so you may think like, oh man, I gotta put like a crazy amount on here, but you don't need a crazy amount. What you do want to do is you want to put it on in a way that when you twist your threads on, that you're going to continue threading it the same direction. So you can see as I put this on here, I don't want to block the opening. But I'm also going to wrap it and tear off that excess. I'm also going to wrap it in the direction that it's going to thread. Now this is going to go on there, and because I wrap the Teflon that same direction, it's not going to bunch up on me when I'm tightening this down. And normally with Teflon, once you get that thing pretty hand tight, it's going to be okay. For the sake of just making sure, I'm going to use our small ones here. I'm going to get a good grip, and I'm just going to twist this a little bit, and that's it. It's on. It shouldn't take more than that. And then we'll do the same type of connection once we hook the other end to the bidet unit itself. But I'm pretty glad that I went ahead and knocked that out first, because I am in such a space constraint working with this toilet. Now for these type of connections here, the brass to the plastic, it's not a place I normally put Teflon. Not the same as these connections here. And since this piece twists here, I won't have to twist the entire unit, which is why I wanted to go ahead and put the supply line on now. So let's get this screwed on. I just want to be gentle with it, because remember, you're dealing with plastic threads on this. And again, I'm not going to go crazy, but I do want to get it a bit tighter. Okay, I'm happy with this connection here, and we've already got the supply line hooked up, so now we don't have to fight that and try to put the Teflon here. So the next step is we've got to hook the toilet to the bottom of this thing. All right, sorry I can't get much of a better angle, but they're wanting me to install a rubber gasket basically inside of here. It's gonna sit on the bottom side of this, and I wanted to kind of show that because I won't have too great of a viewing angle, but I'm not really sure what this is gonna do. We've already got a gasket here, so I'm a little nervous putting another one in there, as I just don't feel like it's gonna work. So I'm gonna install it without that to start, and we'll see if I end up needing it. But just, you know, installing a few toilets in my day here. The line itself has the gasket, so I really am not concerned there about this. Again, I'm gonna get it hand tight on the toilet. Hand tight. So now we still have this guy that actually hooks into the bidet unit itself. And obviously at this point, if we turn the water pressure back on, it's gonna go up through the T-valve and it's gonna come through this line and shoot out of here. So we don't wanna do that yet. We wanna leave the water off still until you're ready and you've got everything hooked up to the bidet unit itself. I've laid the bidet unit out on top of the toilet here so we can take a look. And as I thought, there's the other connector for the other side of the supply line. So before we set it in place, I'm gonna go ahead and hook it up while I still have free motion for this unit. Again, I'm trying to limit my ability to hook the supply line up and do the Teflon the right way and everything prior. So again, with the Teflon, you don't need a ton of it. They give you quite a bit on the rolls, so it can be a little bit deceiving. Hold it real flat when you break it, because you don't want this stuff to fold up. You just want it to be like that. And remember, I'm gonna tighten it this direction. So you want the stuff to wrap around the direction that you're going to be tightening it. So if I were to wrap it this way, then the bolt I'm gonna spin on and it's gonna bunch the stuff up. So you want it to go the other way. This just takes trial and error. It'll kind of mess with your brain a little bit if you're not used to setting stuff up with Teflon, but trust me, just that one bit of advice about putting this stuff on in the right direction will save you buckets of tears. Well, maybe not buckets, but you know what I mean. So initially here, I know that the way this unit is gonna be sitting on the toilet now, I kind of figured out how it's gonna sit. So I'm gonna keep that in mind as I hook it together. So this actually is gonna hook onto here. We'll get that hand tight. Now remember, this stuff, I've said it a few times, but plumbing, these things do not need to be wrenched beyond the point of no return. It just doesn't need that. So let's see how this is gonna go. I figured it would probably need to get, there we go. So I'm gonna twist it back on itself to create the loop backwards. That way, from this direction, you really don't see too much of it. We may have skipped over step 4 here, but that was connect the bidet hose to the T-valve. We already did that. So install the bidet attachment on toilet. So you can see here, it's got some adjustable attachments. These are those adjustable sliders. They kind of slide back and forth. And then they also give you these other 2 rubber washers. So it's wanting you to put these over the holes. And then you can see here, I'm already off. So I need to get these adjusted. And the best I can see is you just kind of push them. They're a little bit hard to move. So I don't know if this is on purpose, but I wasn't being too gingerly with them. I was just kind of pushing them. Let's test that out. So about a click each. We'll see if that works. And that looks like it's gonna be a perfect lineup for us. I think I'm just gonna start it kind of in the middle and we'll see where it goes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put these gaskets back down because I just wanna make sure that everything is like it should be per our toilet seat. And then your toilet seat, this could easily get somebody frustrated because you're holding so many parts together all at once. You're going to go for the smaller screwdriver this go around. Easier to hold. There we go on that side. All right, as of now, I still have not turned the water back on. I've got the toilet seat bolted back in, click those down. Still got my bowl there to be ready. This thing is set to the off position, and the toilet seat still sits really nice. So it's not, you know, nothing's hurting it there. It's sitting really nice. Still very sturdy, even with that attachment on there. So let's take a quick peek at the instructions and see if it's time to go ahead and turn this water back on. Step 6 and 7 were connect the hose bidet attachment, and then step 7 was turn the water supply on and check the leaks, and then wait 5 to 10 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and try that. I'm gonna turn it on now, and we're gonna see what we see. All right, I've not turned this on yet. So if I turn this on, water sprays, you guys get to come along for the ride. Slow. I don't feel the pressure yet. I hear some pressure. That looks good. Slowly turning it more. It is filling the toilet. Let's check this one out. I can't even really see it, but I don't feel any leaks. Still don't see anything here. It's always good to feel around with your finger, because sometimes the water can run down the back side of the supply valve, and then you won't really notice it right away. But I don't feel any water. Everything feels cool, but that's okay. Valve is pressurized, and we've got water flowing into this tank. So I'm gonna let this sit for 5 to 10 minutes as per instructions before we try it out. Okay, we've waited about 10 minutes here. I see nothing. Everything feels super tight. There's still solid pressure in the toilet. So one quick note, this does have that adjustable height, and this actually pops down. So it looks like when you engage the pressure, this is gonna pop out. And I guess that's where the water sprays out. So this thing is up all the way this direction, but it can actually be forced backwards. So it's adjustable depending on the angle that you want. Now, in all honesty, I've never used one of these before, so I'm actually kind of interested to see what happens. So let's test it out. I'm gonna hold up a towel or something because I fully expect it to spray like across the room. Okay, so this thing shoots out with the force of like a rocket. It is insane. Okay, so that thing shoots out like a rocket. I tried to block it and it shot full force, hit me in the chest. I'm gonna grab someone else to hold the camera so that I can show you how much force it actually shoots water out with. So be advised when you're testing it. If you're standing in front of it, you're gonna get smashed with water, and if you're not standing in front of it, it's just gonna shoot across the room to the wall, so be ready for that. Okay, so this time, I'm gonna hold a towel, and I'm gonna show you guys how much power comes out of this thing. So for when you're testing it, so let me show you again. So you're gonna turn this knob over to wash, and that's the power intensity there. And then watch it shoot out of this. So I think I cranked it a little bit too much last time and it just soaked me, so there you go. So we like the FreshSpa Easy Bidet from Brondell. If you want to spend a little bit more money, you can get one that is actually heated, that plugs in, although you'd have to have a plug near where this is on your toilet. So we went with the non-heated version. Check it out. If you like what we do, subscribe to the video. Like this video if you like what we do, and give us some comments if there's anything that we didn't explain well enough or you need help with something else. Let us know that as well, and we'll see you in the next project.